an inclusive design sprint case study, Xbox Social Gaming, with August de los Reyes.
As the design director for Xbox, we decided to focus on gamers, and particularly deaf and hard of hearing gamers.
Games are no longer just entertainment. They're a vital part of sort of society at large.
Given an opportunity to share my experience with other people who are going to take this and hopefully turn this into something that's really useful for me and for other people who have my disability as well.
Accessibility is not the goal of inclusive design, but rather observing how people with different levels of ability navigate a typical situation and use that analog as a starting point for designing our features.
It really isn't about designing for people with disabilities. It's really just about a design process that meets everyone's needs.
Coming here and talking about Xbox, because that was the point of the discussion. It seems, however, the discussion was everything else outside of Xbox.
My favorite part so far has been the inclusion of the subject matter experts. When you meet somebody in person, the empathy level grows. You hear their story, you feel their story in context of them as a person in a way that you don't get in text on a forum or on a user voice.
Some of the inclusive design tools were really helpful to help me think about different slices of the experience.
You've got this basic idea that makes a lot of sense. We have it kind of frame by frame.
Thinking about someone that is doing something on a bus.
What if, in fact, we transport that to another location? And so running that through a couple of different places, whether it be in transit.
Someone that has a different type of ability that is in a different context in their life.
Well, this is kind of an edge case, or this is only a couple of people who might benefit from this thing. In all actuality, it is a lot of people, and so there is kind of inherent value in those things as well.
The one thing that I would want to come out of this would just be a different way of approaching how you actually start a design process, rather than starting out in that tunnel development phase where you're just, generating this just for an Xbox One player, but just thinking outside of the box and make sure that it is inclusive to everyone.
And so I just really try to impress on the participants that, the things that they design are having a massive impact on quality of life for thousands and thousands of people.
Back with the design director of Xbox.
Well, I'm super excited with the outcome of the sprint.
One of the projects that we came up with from the design sprint is basically including emojis in the virtual keyboard,
which allows deaf or hard of hearing players to understand the emotional context in which text-based communications are made.
So the virtual keyboard is something that appears system-wide, and this would be something that deaf gamers would be able to convey that certain level of emotion that they may not have been able to do beforehand.
One way that the inclusive design sprint really made a direct impact was thinking about how we expand the tags or sort of the standards that would govern these different clubs or these different parties. One of the features that we're talking about bringing to the console, the PC app, the mobile app this holiday season is actually something called clubs. The idea is that, in this example, you're getting together with other deaf gamers. This is just one particular example, but you could congregate around any sort of interest or common element that you might have with other people.
The bottom line around it is that even though these social and emotional needs were specific to deaf gamers with the Xbox console, these are social needs that everyone experiences.
I think ideally the more that we do these types of things, the more that people see us doing these types of things, the easier it will get. And I think it's already clear that Microsoft as a culture does value all humans.
Certainly them taking the lead, Microsoft, on accessibility for customers with disability, and them doing that as they have been is enormous.
We just can't afford to have things that are that important inaccessible to a huge percentage of the population.
A team works behind closed glass doors. The screen reads Inclusive, a Microsoft Design Toolkit. WDG Video.